Welcome along, fellow Beatle people. This time around, I'm going to read for you an article that was published in the Evening Star, Washington, D.C., on Friday, December 27th, 1963. Before I begin, please like, share, and subscribe to Beatle People on whatever platform you are listening on. Now please join me around the campfire. The headline is this: "The Voice of the Beatles is Heard in This Land," by James Lee, Star staff writer. The text as follows: Beatlemania, a serious disease causing widespread hysteria in England, has been brought to the United States. WWDC disc jockey Carol James had the record, "I Want to Hold Your Hand," by Great Britain's fanatically successful new singing group, the Beatles, flown to this country last week. Carol has introduced to this country the hottest contemporary rock and roll performers of Europe, whose records have outsold all singers, including the immensely popular Elvis Presley. They have performed before capacity-plus crowds and caused major riots wherever they have appeared. The request to hear the record, never aired before in this country, came from teenager Marcia Albert of Silver Spring. Carol said he was willing to try. He first called the British Embassy, who, although typically unruffled by the request, said they could not help. Next he turned to BOAC, the English Airlines. Quote, "Very happy to try, old boy," end quote, was the response. An American friend of an English BOAC employee purchased the record in London. It was put on a BOAC jet for the United States and arrived here Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, it was played on the air with an introduction by Marcia, a 14-year-old Sligo Junior High student. The Beatles, who have canceled personal appearances for the sake of life and limb, are four young men from Liverpool who dress in the sharpest teddy boy fashion and sport long hair combed across their foreheads in bangs. They accompany themselves, when they perform, on 3 guitars and drums. Their music is unbelievably loud, repetitious, and sends their fans into a netherworld in which frenzied teenagers rip off each other's clothes, battle policemen, or simply faint. "I Want to Hold Your Hand" is beautifully simple. Its lyrics consist of the phrase, "I want to hold your hand," repeated for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The Beatles are fairly good harmonizers, rhythmically sound, and probably fun to watch. But they sound more like the early days of rock and roll than the young modern beat group they have been publicized as being. On first hearing the record, offhand, one could think of 100 singers and 1,000 records that are as good, if not better. You wonder what all the noise is about. Disc jockey James says local teen reaction has ranged from those solidly won over to the Beatles camp and the girls who like them, quote, "in spite of the hairdos," end quote, to those less enchanted, like the poet who sent Carol this verse: "Japanese Beatles are surely a pest, and British Beatles are far from the same nest. They may give the English people a thrill, but as for me, mama, get real kill." I don't even know what the hell that means. What does that mean? Let me know in the comments below. The disc jockey completely scooped the rest of the nation on airing the record. Capitol had purchased the disc for release next month. Both Jack Parr and Ed Sullivan planned film segments on the group on upcoming television shows. And that concludes that article. Boy, the world has changed so much, hasn't it? What are your thoughts about this article? Have you ever heard of disc jockey Carol James? What an amount of effort to go through, right? I mean, think about this. So this is when DJs were kind of a big deal, right, in the United States. And some 14-year-old chick contacts the disc jockey and says, "Hey, can you get a hold of this song, 'I Want to Hold Your Hand,' by the Beatles in England?" And look at the trouble he had to go through. I mean, this guy's calling the British Embassy. Yeah? Imagine that. Calling the British Embassy, and then, okay, well, they couldn't help. And then he's contacting BOAC, whatever the heck that is. Was it airline, right? British something, airlines, whatever. So, wow. And then he gets it, and he's the first and only, disc jockey, right? And he's got that. Amazing. So, anyway, I love reading old articles. Let me know what your thoughts are about this one, about how the world has changed so much. What do you think about this guy's interpretation, this James Lee? What do you think about the song just being, what does he say? "I want to hold your hand." repeated for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. There's more to that. Anyway, it's kind of funny. You know something? If you've stuck around this long, I'm thinking I might start giving you guys a bit of a treat where I can tell you some of the other stuff that's on this page. I was just reading something else. But let me tell you, so the number one song when this was written seems to have been Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. And number 2 was There, I've Said It Again by Bobby Vinton. Quicksand by Martha and the Vandellas. Then 4 was As Usual by Brenda Lee. 5 was Surfin' Bird by the Trashmen. Number 6, Do You Hear What I Hear by Bing Crosby. Number 7 was Daisy Petal Pickin' by Jimmy Gilmer and Fireballs. Number 8 was Popsicles and Icicles by the Mermaids. And I pronounce it like that because it's actually pronounced Mer, M-U-R-M-A-I-D-S, Mermaids. Number 9 was Dominique by the Singing Nun. Oh, the Singing Nun. And 10, The Marvelous Toy by Chad Mitchell Trio. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, you want to hear this article? Let me tell you, I got to read this. If you're still sticking around, if you like this kind of stuff, let me go ahead and show you what this is. So it's called Ricker's Mail by Dorothy Ricker. Dear Miss Ricker, I am 16 and I've just started dating. I get along fine with girls, but I really sweat their parents. Quite often, when I call for a girl, she is not ready, and if I go to the door, I'm faced with at least one and sometimes both of her parents. Usually they are strangers to me, and I just don't know what to say or how to act. Can you please help me? Woody. You think this is real? You think that somebody named Woody actually wrote this? I'm thinking not. But anyway, here's what Dorothy Ricker wrote in response. When you have a date, never make the mistake of sitting in the car and tooting the horn to announce your arrival. Walk to the front door and ring the bell. And if you are if you are confronted by one or both of the girl's parents, don't panic. If you have not met them, say, I'm Woody Haynes. Is Jill ready? The parents will invite you in, and once you are in the living room, stand until you are invited to sit down. Say, thank you. Take the nearest seat and don't sprawl. The adults will probably make light conversation, and you should be pleasant and responsive. Don't chew gum or smoke. Stand up when your girl enters the room, and don't say something like, come on, doll, let's blast off. Say, hi, Jill. Are you ready to go? If her parents set a time for her to be home, agree to have her back at that time and do it. Then say something like, it has been nice meeting you. Open the door for Jill and leave. Have no fear of nice parents. All they want from you is for you to be pleasant, well-behaved, and a suitable dating companion for their daughter. What do you think? You agree? Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with that advice. That's good advice. Nothing wrong with it. That's good stuff. For all the moms and dads out there, when a boy comes to pick up your daughter, what's that behavior like these days? Do you even meet a lot of the boys that your daughters have dated? Kindly let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You want to hear another one? I got one more. I know you want to hear the Beatles stuff. Oh, there's 2 more. You want to hear them? Let me read them real quick. You can turn this off if you want to turn it off, but this is fun. Dear Miss Ricker, I am 15 and a freshman in a small high school. I have been taught that boys respect girls who do not go in for heavy necking and petting. And it is the nice girls that boys want to marry. That's true. I believe this to be true, but it is quite apparent to me that some of the more popular girls in my school are the ones who do more necking and petting than I think is proper. I'm not as popular as these girls, and sometimes I worry about it and wonder if I am in danger of becoming a prude. So I decided to ask your advice. Joan. What do you think? Is that a true letter from Joan to Dorothy Ricker? Written and published in December of 1963? It's possible. All right, let's see what Dorothy has to say. It's as follows. Just because you do not want to become too deeply involved with a boy does not make you a prude. In my opinion, it simply shows you to be the kind of girl who is intelligent enough to know if she plays with fire, she is going to get burned. There are different kinds of so-called popularity, Joan. The kind acquired by easy girls with loose morals is not lasting and leads to many heartaches. This brings up a serious question which deserves much thought. What kind of popularity do you want? You cannot be popular with everyone, so you must stick to what you think is right, and choose friends who think and act as you do. Don't be envious of the easy girls. The price they have to pay for their short-lived popularity is too high to even consider. Believe me. And then there's in italics here. What's this say? Teenagers find the opposite sex intriguing, mysterious, baffling, and often downright aggravating. If you wonder why they do the things they do, Dorothy Ricker's newest leaflet will be helpful. It's free. Please enclose a stamped, self-addressed envelope with your request for You and the Opposite Sex. Mailed to Dorothy Ricker in care of Teen, The Evening Star, Washington 3, D.C. Interesting. Okay, there's one more. It's really short. Dear Miss Ricker, I'm a regular reader of your column, and recently you mentioned something about it being improper for a girl to give a boy a present first, under certain circumstances. Would you consider it improper for me to give my steady boyfriend a birthday gift? This will be his first birthday since we've been dating, and my birthday doesn't come up for 3 months. Phyllis. And here is what Miss Ricker wrote in reply to Phyllis. Under the circumstances you describe, it would be all right to give your steady a birthday gift. Apparently, you have not been going steady very long, so I recommend an inexpensive gift. A record album, a book of his favorite sport or hobby, or something for his room, such as a desk set, small clock, or bookends. If money is a problem, you can make him some candy or cookies. Make candy? I guess you can make candy. I don't know. Ladies, all the ladies out there, have you ever made candy or cookies for your steady? Wrap them attractively and add a nice birthday card. Nice. And then here's how it ends. It says, do you have problems? Write to Dorothy Ricker in care of Teen, The Evening Star, Washington 3, D.C. Letters to Miss Ricker can be answered through her column or released by the Register and Tribune Syndicate. Well, there we go. I hope you enjoyed hearing that. I know you wanted to hear about the Beatles article, which was pretty good, got to admit. I should read that first paragraph again. Check it out. Beatlemania, a serious disease causing widespread hysteria in England, has been brought to the United States. Has it? Do you consider the Beatles and their music to be a widespread disease? Kindly let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And so this concludes this episode of the Beatle People Podcast. What do you think about it? Kindly let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe to this show on whatever platform you're listening on. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.